Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, we all know that Raila Odinga was on a trip of the West African countries. In this trip, something positive to Raila Odinga's campaign team happened. Talking about something positive, I'm referring to the message that came from Mauritius' new Prime Minister.
Mauritius candidate Anil Gaya withdrew from the race after the country's new Prime Minister supported Raila Odinga's bid.
After the country's new Prime Minister Navichandra Ramgoolam backed Odinga's bid.
And that move has forced Anil Gaya to, forfeit his candidature. Because one of the things that is required is that in your country, the head of state must support you. You can't be an AUC chair and you don't get a support from your country. That's why you find that in Somalia, MAHMOUD could not, soldier on with her quest to become the AUC chair candidate because Somalia openly told her to step down. But of course, there is already confirmation from some people, some sources that Somalia could have supported, openly supported Mahmoud Yusuf. But that was expected because Somalia is part of OIC, So let's get back to this good news from Mauritius. And we all know that Raila Odinga has visited 6 countries. Talking about Benin, Ghana, Togo, Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria, in his quest to consolidate the West African bloc. So, before we escalate this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to kindly encourage you to go below there and like this video. It's so important because that is the only way YouTube shares our content. Subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed before, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Now, Ruto was on a tour in Kondele. There's something he said regarding this issue of him having a conversation with the newly elected Prime Minister of Mauritius. At the time that communication was happening, Raila was already touring some areas in the West Africa. And this is what William Ruto said in his X. I've had a telephone conversation with the newly elected Prime Minister of Mauritius, Honorable Navichandra Ramgoolam. I congratulated him on his election and for the faith the people of this country have shown in him and his party. So this is what Ruto said in his X. And he said again, we affirmed the strong and cordial diplomatic ties between our two countries and peoples and committed ourselves to deepening the relations. Prime Minister Ramgoolam confirmed his support for Kenya's candidate to the African Union Commission chairperson, Honorable Raila Odinga. So that's what William Ruto said in his X, ladies and gentlemen. So this endorsement of Raila means the race has now narrowed down to only 3 aspirants. And I'm talking about Raila, Djibouti's MAHMOUD, and Madagascar's Richard, who is also very competent. So, ladies and gentlemen, from your own understanding, do you think this is going to work to the advantage of Raila Odinga? We all know that in Mauritius candidate had also people who are going to vote for him. We're not just trying to say that it's only one country that would have voted for him, that is the home country. There are countries who would have voted for the Mauritius candidate. So take a look at those countries. Is it an automatic assurance that these countries are going to vote for Raila Odinga? Those countries which would have voted for Anil Gaya, are they going to vote for Raila Odinga? Or because of this position, they are likely to throw their weight behind Mahmoud Yusuf? Basically, if you ask me that question, I'll tell you this. I think what is going to happen is that the newly elected Prime Minister will rein in on this matter, convince those they had reached out to vote for them to throw their weight behind Raila Odinga. So this is, to me, a plus to Raila Odinga's, quest to secure the AUC chairmanship position. Someone would argue this matter differently and say that this is likely to be a plus to Mahmoud Yusuf, in that the people or the countries that would have voted for Anil Gayan, maybe those countries are countries, part of them are in OIC, or we can say Francophone, maybe some of them. That these are countries which could only align themselves with a Francophone or OIC-backed country. And I'm talking about the likes of countries like, the OIC countries, like Djibouti. Because right now, that Somalia, there's talk that Somalia have openly shown their support for Djibouti. But you see, we also know very well that this is going to be a secret ballot. So we can say that these endorsements could be taking place, but at the end of the day, it's a secret ballot. But I don't believe that it's like Kenya, whereby when a politician comes, the same crowd greets that politician. When an opponent of that politician comes, the same crowd greets that opponent and assures that opponent of votes. So I don't know whether this is also the same scenario. I believe that this arrangement is going to be quite different. It's not going to be like what we experienced with Amina Mohammed, whereby Amina Mohammed publicly says, or rather said, that some East African countries betrayed Kenya. I don't think that is going to happen. With Raila Odinga's case, it's going to be a bit different. Let me take you through some reactions here, a couple of reactions regarding this issue of support by the newly elected Prime Minister. There's a tweet here from Pauline Njoroge which says, Baba with his good friend President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire. The two had a fruitful engagement around Raila's AUC chairmanship position. Now, I think with this issue of President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire, this is Raila's long-term friend, and because there's a time, Raila is alleged that Raila secured the peaceful transfer of power, he oversaw that peaceful transfer to President Alassane Ouattara. So you know the kind of relationship that is there between these two. There's also another tweet here from Raila Odinga that says, I had the honor of meeting OVP, Mohamed Jallow, the Vice President of the Gambia, who also accorded me a warm reception. President Adama Barrow, who was on a tour of the region, graciously called me on the phone as well. We discussed my candidature for the AUC chairmanship position and the vision I have for the transformation of our continent if elected. Then there are a couple of pictures here of Raila Odinga with the Vice President of Gambia. And then there's another one here, another tweet from Raila again. I paid homage at the African Renaissance Monument in Dakar. This prodigious structure signifies not only the cultural heritage of Africa, but also the hope and resilience of its people. As I stood in its shadow, I reflected on this journey we have walked as a continent, acknowledging that this is Africa's century and the monument being a constant reminder of that. I was inspired by the idea that it is a time for renewal and growth, a time to take collective steps as a people towards the Africa we want. So those are some of the tweets, regarding this issue of Raila and the AUC. But the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, is that Anil Gayan has withdrawn. Automatically, because of the support of the newly elected Prime Minister. Of course, we know, based on the policy of AUC, you must get a support from your Prime Minister, head of state, rather the leader in your country. In this case, we have Prime Minister, who is supposed to be the one endorsing Anil, but he has openly supported Raila. So it means inabidi Anil has stopped. Just like what happened in Somalia. I told you about that. And it was MAHMOUD, it was Fauzia Mohammed who had to step down because Somalia had already asked her to do that. But initially it was expected that Somalia had done that in the spirit of East African position, because we knew that Somalia would openly endorse Raila, but word has it that they have openly endorsed Djibouti. But we know that Somalia and Kenya, the issues it's all about the border. Unajua ile kesi ya border Somalia na Kenya, that dispute. So this was expected. I didn't expect the president of Somalia to openly support Raila Odinga. So that has happened. But the good thing is that Raila is making a lot of inroads, and he has met heads of state, and there is almost all surety that this seat will go to him. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to rest my case there. But what do you think about this latest development coming from Mauritius openly supporting Raila and forcing Anil Gayan to withdraw? Just go below in the comment section and you can offer a reaction on that development. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.